All right. Snakes have always been my favorite animal. Partly because I think it's funny that everyone hates them, and partly because they're so unique. And hopefully, y'all realize this after my quick rundown of the venomous snakes in Georgia. Georgia has 46 species of snakes, 6 of which are venomous, belonging to 2 different families, pit vipers and elapids. I first want to break down some differences between these 2 families, then describe some characteristics of them, some physical characteristics of them to you guys, and lastly, I want to go through some concepts of snake conservation. First, let me break down some differences between pit vipers and elapids. Copperheads, water moccasins, and rattlesnakes, the 3 in Georgia being the eastern diamondback, the timber, and the pygmy rattlesnake, all belong to the pit viper family, meaning they have little pits in between their eyes and their nose that are heat sensors used to detect warm-blooded prey. It's also where they get their name from. Pit vipers also have long fangs that are able to fold up into the roof of their mouth, a really unique characteristic of these snakes. And they also have venom that is hemotoxic, meaning it destroys blood cells and tissues when injected. For elapids, the eastern coral snake is actually the only member of this family in the entire southeast United States. But some other cool members of this family do include king cobras and black mambas, which I thought was cool. In contrast to pit vipers, they have short fixed fangs in the top of their mouth that injects neurotoxic venom, meaning their venom attacks a prey's central nervous system, causing its entire body to shut down until it dies. But don't worry, snake bites are not all that common. Most of these species do not like to be encountered in the first place and are often pretty secretive. In fact, you're more likely to die from a lightning strike than a snake bite. But do keep in mind that snake bites do happen, but anti-venom is widely distributed these days. Next, let me run through some physical characteristics that would help you distinguish a venomous snake from a non-venomous snake. For the pit viper family, you can identify these guys really easily by their diamond-shaped head. This is probably the most noticeable feature that they have, and it's the biggest difference between them and most non-venomous species. Their head kind of elongates from the rest of their body. They also have elliptical pupils, though. They're like little slits in the eyeballs, very similar to that pupils that cats would have. My favorite one to identify, though, is the pygmy rattlesnake. They're pretty easy to identify because they rarely ever get longer than 2 feet long, which I think is hilarious. Coral snakes, though, have a body shape very similar to that of many non-venomous snakes, though. They have a slender head and body. But one thing that makes them unique is their color pattern, being that it consists of red, yellow, and black bands. This makes them commonly mistaken, though, with the non-venomous scarlet king snake and scarlet snake, which intentionally mimic this snake to try to make it look venomous to potential predators. But one easy way to keep this mistake from happening is the little saying, red touch yellow, kill a fellow, being the eastern coral snake, and red touch black, venom lack, meaning that you're looking at a scarlet snake or a scarlet king snake and that it's totally non-venomous. Lastly, I want to touch on how human development continues to break down snake habitats and snake populations. First, deforestation and urbanization are rapidly taking out snake habitats, especially the ones like the water moccasin and coral snakes that live in like kind of coastal wetland regions, because those properties are in such high demand and honestly always being developed. Secondly, though, because of venomous snakes' negative view in the public eye, they're often hunted by humans and even just killed when they're seen in the first place. Specifically, the eastern diamondback, which is quickly becoming one of the most endangered species in the entire country, partly due to this negative public perception. People even have rattlesnake roundups just to round these guys up and kill as many as they can, which I really hate because these are such an incredible species that if they go extinct, there will never be another thing like them. Hopefully now you guys, though, know a little bit more about the 2 different kinds of families of venomous snakes in Georgia. Hopefully you could also identify some of them from a non-venomous species just to keep you safe. And I really hope that you guys have a little bit better understanding of snake conservation and how important it is. I got most of my information from a book I've had since I was a kid, Snakes of the Southeast. It was written by Whit Gibbons, an ecology professor at the University of Georgia, and by Mike Dorcas, an associate professor of biology at Davidson College. The book was published by the University of Georgia in 2005, and I also sourced the rest of my information from a page published by the Georgia Wildlife Foundation. I was unable to find an author or a publisher of this exactly, but I recommend checking it out. Great source of information. Thanks.